Hello, and welcome to Tales of an ALT. Now, today's tale brings us to the world of the Introverted ALT. Now, before we talk about what being introverted and being an ALT together means, we need to talk about what an introvert is. By definition, an introvert and an extrovert refers to the way one gets their energy and some ways of thinking. Now, of course, every situation, every person is different. Introverts tend to feel recharged and get energy when they are away from outward social interaction. They like reading books, watching TV, and things that are kind of solitary. And when they are in a social situation and their energy depletes very fast. Trying to explain this and have a conversation with a Japanese friend, the easiest way to describe it is a tank of gas. Introverts tend to start off on full in their social interaction, and by the end of the interaction they're on E, where extroverts tend to start on E and fill up the gas tank with their interaction. Now, disclaimer, I can only talk about my view. I am only me. And my view is my life, my experiences in life, my own personal introvertedness, and my anxieties, my self-esteem issues, and that's all I can talk about, right? But this is some food for thought, basically. And also, maybe to continue the disclaimer, I see myself as an introvert, but also like being around people. So I have slight extrovert, so that may actually help me in this. But let's get started. So number one, we talk about energy. So energy drain at work. I feel personally being at work is like being on stage, and I'm not being fake. I'm not pretending to be someone I'm not. It's just something switches on and I can be hyper energetic, genki, what have you, and play around with the kids, socialize with the students, talk with the teachers, the other ALTs, and it's a lot. But also at training, you are told to basically be on all the time. If you're observed during a class, you may be marked up, marked down, but it may be commented that possibly you didn't move around the classroom enough. You didn't talk to check the work of the kids who are writing down what's on the board. You didn't help them enough. So training, you are told to be out there, to go and be on stage. Next, for me, at the end of the day, after all the classes, and even if I have downtime and whatnot, it's the end of the day. I'm standing out waiting for the bus. The kids are, crying out to me and saying hey, or talking to me. But when that bus comes, I get on that bus, I take my seat. My energy gauge just goes, and I'm out. I'm spent. I'm exhausted. I have hit my quota for the day, and any other social interaction for the rest of the day almost feels impossible. But also, one thing to keep in mind, random, unprepared interactions. This may consist of questions that the JTE may randomly just ask you in the middle of class. For example, one of my first JTEs randomly asked me in class, what is the difference between a bit and a little? Okay, processing. And my reply was, they're a little bit different. And that had the teacher laughing and going, huh? And the class understood that I had just put both of them together and laughed. But for introverts, not being prepared, for a sudden interaction like that is jarring, and it's kind of like an energy leak, maybe. Also, the random hall interactions with kids. You may just have some downtime and you're running out to the restroom, down the hall, and there's 5 or 6 kids who are like, hello, and you're just hello, and not being prepared for that could cause more energy drain in that situation. In the teacher's room, also in training, and one of my past trainers, he put it best saying, don't be the weirdo. Don't be the person sitting in the teacher's room, sitting there, not talking to anybody, not being socializing with anyone, not saying hello, it doesn't mean you have to be a social butterfly and fly around the room and talk to each and every teacher. They're very busy. But when you're closed off in that introvert bubble, basically don't do that, is what they tell you in training. I tend to get comfortable very fast with interacting with my JTEs and co-teachers. If you're at elementary, that's basically all the teachers that you have to interact with if you were teaching the whole school. So it's a lot, and you want to have a presence at the school, so you want to socialize and you want a positive interaction as well. So don't be the weirdo. Alright, next is probably my most difficult problem at the job is lunch time in the classroom. My first lunch experience was a lot of being forgotten, and at some point I just had to eat my cold food. I don't know why. There wasn't a lot of communication, I guess, with the homerooms and the classrooms that I was coming, and I was going to be eating with them, and the kids are supposed to come to the teacher's room and get you. In that situation, it doesn't happen all the time, and I was forgotten a lot, and it just put a kind of bitter taste in my mouth. Also, a lot of the schools that I have been asked to eat with the kids, there are lunchtime announcements, and they take up a lot of the lunch eating time, and you're not allowed to talk during that time. You're supposed to be listening to the announcement, and I really don't see the point of making the teacher go and sit there awkwardly with the kids, because sometimes the kids don't want to talk. Sometimes it's they don't want to talk to you. You don't know where you're going to sit. You don't know if the kids around you are going to be outwardly and talk to you, and it's a lot of wasted energy. And you also have to worry about eating fast and being done in the time the kids have to eat, and it just really feels like a lot of wasted energy. Now, there have been some amazing lunchtime experiences I've had, and I have done things to help that, which I will talk about in a later section. So let's talk about recharging. Now, one would think you would be able to charge during breaks. Probably not. My personal, again, experience is there are 10 minutes or so in between classes. Some elementaries that I've worked at, like this year I'm working at, only have 5 minutes in between classes. So you're just going from one class to the next. And it's just go, go. You see the kids in the hall. So there is no downtime at all during that time. And also, technically, the contracts that I know about and have information on, like my personal contracts between, let's say, Altia and the BOE, is that the ALT should have a 45-minute or 60-minute break. And this doesn't happen a lot. You eat lunch with the kids, and then after lunch you got to brush your teeth, and you only have a few more minutes, and then you're off to the next class. And down class time is usually when I charge, and this is desk recharging, desk work recharging. At my current junior high school, there's a lot of paper correcting, and that does not drain energy from me. I actually recharge during the time I am reading and correcting the day's papers from the classes, and it really, really helps. Also, any prep or lesson planning that you can, like, if you have time for and can do, I feel will probably go that same way. When I was in elementary and teaching the whole elementary, like all grades, I had a lot of prep time and I was constantly prepping, but I didn't go out at lunch to interact with the kids because I had to prep. But that probably saved me and my energy storage because I had that down focused energy time. So what can an introverted ALT do to keep up the whole interaction and things like that, but yet not pour out energy all the time? Well, one idea is English boards. You can make, if you are lucky enough, and I say that because this year I'm not lucky enough, but if you're lucky enough, your school has an English board and they want you to put energy into that English board, the prep time to make things for the English board is a great way to recharge. But also, it's a great way to have that contact with kids. You can make them interactive. Last year, I put a Halloween trick or treat quiz on the board that the kids flipped up pumpkins to check the answers. The porch light being on or off, if you can trick or treat there, which is something they don't really know about in Japan. So I informed them, and then I also had the quiz with, some tough pictures, like a house with a whole bunch of decorations and lights on, but no porch light. Can you trick or treat? And yes, you can, because they have the decorations, or things like that. So that's one example. Another one, and I haven't been able to do it in years, and I miss it because my schools have been way too big to do this, is a letter exchange. At the Castle School, I had a mailbox in the English room, and the kids would write letters to me, especially the first years because they were practicing writing. And I would spend hours and money going to Daiso and the 100 $1 store, and buying stationery that was cool and stickers to put into the letters to reply to the kids. And I designed a mail post paper that they could write the letter on, and they wrote the letters, they put it in, they did interesting, foldings, but that was great for me because I could sit and reply to them without that immediate in-my-face interaction. And it also worked wonders with shyer, maybe introverted students who, they're the ones that I notice them in class. They're quiet and what have them, and I poke them a little, but not too much because they're either shy or I can tell, like, don't overdo it. But then towards the end of the year, they run up to me and put a letter in my hand that says, "Thank you so much," or "I love you," you know. And those kids had an outlet to talk to me, and they loved it. I loved it. Okay, so the next idea that I started was a lunchroom survey. Now, this helped me at lunch. Again, I had the opportunity of doing an English board, and on the English board, I put the results of the survey. I had a question, like last year for the first years, it was, are you playing Pokemon Sun and Moon? And all the kids at lunch just quickly, like, I made a paper for each lunch group, and then somebody, usually the leader of the group, asked the question. The kids, answered, or if they were going one by one, but they answered the question and they wrote down, like, how many, like 3 yes, 2 no. And then I had the second question, like, if you are playing Pokemon Sun and Moon, Sun or Moon. And so I had this survey of, are you playing Pokemon? And then which version did you get? This I expanded to the second years. I asked them Johnny's or Exile Tribe. And the third years I asked them, because it was towards the end of the year, how does graduation make you feel? Happy, sad? And then the second question was, what was your favorite year at the school? And first, second, third, I had one student write 6th grade. I'm like, oh, so before you came to junior high school was your favorite year. But doing that gave me a purpose, and also I had an interaction, and it started a whole topic in lunch of, like, oh, I like Pokemon. Oh, you don't have Pokemon. Well, I haven't bought it yet, but maybe when I get New Year's money, I'll buy it. Like, started a conversation in the class, and it was an interaction that I didn't actually have to do. I sat there, ate as fast as I could, and then I ran around, made sure they all answered it, and I had to focus, and that made lunchtime a lot better for me. Okay, guys, this has been long enough, but these are going to be longer, informative, I hope, videos. So that will do it for today's Tales of an ALT. If you like this video or the vlogs around this or any other video I posted and you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what you didn't like. Ideas. So until next time, ja.